Hello and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn and to a different starting view. Now this week's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm at the end of a particularly bad cold and I really haven't been feeling like making much, but I have been tidying in the craft room this week and I've been inspired, shall we say, to have a bit of a play in the doll's house. I am here, and so I thought we'd start off in the house and you can see what I've been up to, and we'll see how it goes. So this is going to be a bit vlog, maybe a bit makey. I'm not really sure yet, but I think we'll have fun. The first thing you'll notice is that there's furniture in the house that wasn't there before. It's quite obvious. I'd left the house empty because I'm still working on it. But I've been playing. While I was tidying the craft room and I pulled out the boxes that contained all my doll's house furniture, I started looking at pieces that I'd kept as possible use in the house. And a lot of them I'm not sure that I am going to use. I really don't know. A lot of them I'm keeping because they were expensive pieces when I bought them, but they don't really go with my current aesthetic. So they may very well be leaving the house and be being replaced by other things. Now if I pan up a bit, hopefully without too much squeak because my tripod is a bit squeaky, you can see Grandmama's attic workroom and the regular attic at the top. Now I've put the floor in place in the attic and obviously the walls in place at the back temporarily, but that's it at the moment. I'm contemplating decorating Grandmama's workroom for Christmas, because although witches don't normally celebrate Christmas, there is a certain thought I've got that since Grandmama is now supposed to be living with her grandchild and their family, there might be a bit of pressure to get festive, if only for the sort of commercialised side of Christmas. And so that's what I'm sort of playing with. That, and obviously there's only so much I can do with the outside of the doll's house, and I kind of want to do something for Christmas. And since Grandmama's workroom is the only completed room, it's getting the Christmas treatment this year. You must excuse me because I'm trying to figure out the best ways to actually film inside the doll's house. And if you could see what has just gone on behind the scenes, so to speak, I'm sure you'd all be laughing at me trying to get a tripod with my camera on the top balanced at such a height that I can actually get a good view into the doll's house that's steady. I'm hoping that nothing's going to fall, but if it does, I might just leave it in just for the hell of it. Now, as you can see, I have already put a little Christmas tree into the scene. Now, I found these, they're some that I bought this year, and I was trying it for size, and I think that size works on the dresser. It sort of fits, I can make that work. I just need to make it look a bit more decorated. I'm not sure how. I have got a few ideas how I'm going to do that, so we'll probably work on that. I also want to make something that looks more like a little pot for it to stand in rather than that block of wood that those little bottle bush trees come in. And then I'm going to be looking at other areas of the room where I can add some Christmas bits. So I think that what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take you down off the tripod and go back to the desk, and we're going to have a look at some of the Christmas things that I've made previously and that I've bought, and we can see if there's anything that we can use in the room to give it a bit of festive cheer. I've returned to the desk and to my normal angle. I have pulled out my Christmas boxes and we'll go through those in just a moment. But first I'm going to show you this. Now this is a rather beaten up Christmas ornament. It's made of resin, much like the Christmas ornaments that I have altered in the past. It's a bit harder, it is more resin. I think the ones I did last year were actually mostly plastic, which was a lot softer. But I figure I can actually alter this with a little bit of air dry clay and some paint. Santa's taken a bit of a beating. His nose appears to be missing. Either that or he's crossed with a pig. I'm not sure which. And there's a few other places where there's dinks. But it was a piece that I picked up cheap from a charity shop, a thrift shop, or an op shop. See, I'm learning these terms from all around the world. I just thought that this was quite fun, and I could actually make something a bit more interesting. I will be posting pictures of what I do on my Facebook page, even if I don't include them here on the YouTube channel. So watch out. Santa is going to be in for a makeover. With the exception of my Christmas lights, all of my Doll's House Christmas bits are in these two boxes. Now, these tubs which used to contain Christmas sweets, and I'm not going to go into the indignity of the fact that there's only a couple of years between them, but this box and this box are significantly different. This one, which is the earlier box, contained a third more than this one. But they contain my Christmas bits. Now, if I've got this right, the bigger one's got the purchased stuff and the smaller one's got the things we've made. So I'll move the things we've made aside, and yeah, what I've got in here is a selection of Christmas bits that I've bought at various stages. There's a couple of Christmas trees, another Christmas tree, and then my big snowman, and some various bits and pieces, including something, oh, the stocking has got a bell on the toe, that's what's rattling. I can't remember what I've got, but I've got Christmas gift bags and the like. Oh, and I've actually got my infamous Satan stop here sign. Yeah, I got a lot of stick over that, but it's a in-joke in our house. I live with two dyslexics, so that sort of thing happens. And it did actually happen here. Back in 2020, a big store had a load of plates for Christmas Eve which had got cookies for Satan on. I know 2020 was not a good year generally, but I don't think it was quite that bad. Some of the bits that are in here are bits that have been handmade by people. Some of them are mass produced. I've got some little Christmas cards and things that I could pull out and put into Grandma's workroom. That could work. But on the whole, I'm not sure that the stuff in here is quite right. So I'm going to put the Christmas trees back in the box. Yes, that one is sat on top of the battery pack. I used to hide the battery pack underneath presents and things like that, just so that it could be lit up. And that was actually a proper tabletop tree, as it was sold in a store at the time. So we'll pop that lid back on and I will swap it for this one, which is more rattly and sounds more interesting. And this is mostly, there's a couple of purchase things in here. This is mostly the Christmas decorations that I made 2 years ago. And I've got my own trees. That one's a bit damaged, but could be repaired should I want to. My sort of spooky tray. And then I've got my pipe cleaner tray, which is a little bit pathetic. It sort of reminds me of Charlie Brown's Christmas tree. I've got, my sort of weird reindeer candy cane decoration. A few bits that were purchased, or rather purchased bits that were made into a fireplace decoration. Holly wreath, my spooky gingerbread house. Now that could be absolutely perfect if I could find the right place to put it in Grandmama's workroom. I've got my freaky elf that the ear has just fallen off. You will perhaps be pleased to hear that I just paused filming to glue my elf, or perhaps he's more of a goblin, to glue his ear back on. He's made out of silk clay, which is a air drying clay, which remains a little bit sort of soft, a bit squidgy. But little bits do have an habit of sometimes falling off because they don't adhere quite as well. But he survived. I've got my more ordinary gingerbread house with a bit of a bat motif on the front. And then I've got, oh yes, my Christmas sacks instead of stockings, my Christmas signs, eat, drink and be spooky, seasons creepings, Merry Creepmas, etc. These are all featured in previous videos, which I will link in the iCard. There's a few bought bits, as I say. I bought the presents at some point in the past, and I've got some selection packs of sweet treats, including this one, which is very much after the style of my childhood. Not that the sweet treats were really that big. That is kind of excessive. Certainly excessive now, because they're the little fun-sized bars. I don't know what's fun about them. So yes, I've got various bits. I've got the black snowflake garland. Now that I think will go quite nicely in Grandmama's workroom. I may even make some more of that. And I've got a candle and a floral display, but they're on quite big plates, so they may not fit in the spaces that I've got. But we shall have a look at some point. And of course, I've got my little Yule, my Yule log branch piece. That piece I think would be very fitting in there, and I may just fit that into the fireplace if I can make it work. It's all a big if, because I don't quite know how it's going to pan out. Yes, and I've got Scary Christmas as well. So I'm going to sit and look at these bits for a while and decide what I can actually use in there, and hopefully be inspired to make some other bits that will fit in there. But you'll find out a lot sooner than I will. Now, I've been doing a lot of thinking about how I can bring Christmas into Grandmama's workroom. Obviously, with it being witchy, I got to thinking, researching the more ancient traditions for this time of year. And of course, the predecessor
to Christmas that is still celebrated by some witches and pagans is Yule. Now, Yule occurs around about the winter solstice. I'm not 100% sure if it occurs on the winter solstice or not, but I know that it's this time of year. And it's very, very much based upon the cycles of the seasons and celebrating what's going to be coming, you know, with the new year and rebirth and all that kind of thing. That's very simplistic. I'm not going to all go into it, even though I've read quite a bit. But as I say, that would allow me to quite rightfully bring in some festivity and some festive decorations to my witchy workroom. And thinking that there'll be a bit more Christmassy stuff because there's young people in the family about, and so she's sort of humouring them maybe. Anyway, I'm not going to focus too much on Yule because, you know, not all witches celebrate Yule. Yule is not compulsory. A lot of witches celebrate Christmas. That's up to them. At the same time, not everybody who celebrates Yule is a witch. Lots of pagans that celebrate, and that's fine, you know. Whatever your holiday at this time of the year is, I hope you get to celebrate it in the best way possible. But the Yule idea did bring me back round to the idea of more natural decorations. So lots of evergreen, that kind of thing. Not so much of the artificial bling that we very much associate with Christmas these days. Maybe candles rather than artificial lights. Although I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to manage that in miniature. My table keeps moving, I do apologise. However, as I say, this has given me a direction to go in. And so I pulled out these. Now these are fir tree needles. They're not what I thought they were. I picked them up when the range here in the UK started getting their Christmas stuff in. And I thought they were garland ties. Now, I love the garland ties that look like pieces of garland. They're intended for attaching your garland to maybe a banister or I'm not sure what else, but you know, you use them, they're wired, they're great, they disappear into your nice green garland and nobody knows how you manage to keep it there. Brilliant. They're also brilliant for miniatures. They make great miniature garlands. You can use them on fireplaces, and that's what I thought these were, but they're not. What they've got is they've got an end which actually looks like it should be stuck into an artificial Christmas tree. Now this one has been bent over because I've been looking to see if I can make it fit nicely on my fireplace, and I think I can get away with that. It needs some decorations, obviously. I'm not sure what. Yeah. I'm umming and ahhing over this. Normally I would go with something sparkly, but I want to look more natural, so I'm going to keep thinking. Now, out of the Christmas decorations I was looking at before, I pulled out this bunch of branches that's some kind of Yule log alternative, and it is actually really sweet. And if I hold it up a bit closer to the camera, you can get a better look. It's made of real little twigs, all stuck and tied together, and then the little spray of holly is made from Fimo or some other such polymer clay. And I also like the fact there's a little star on there. There might have been another star originally that's fallen off over the years, because I've had it a good many years. But I think that is going to look great on the front of the hearth in the workroom. Now I've also pulled out a couple of other bits. I pulled out one of my wooden, well, they're not wooden, it's faux wooden blocks. It's actually made from pieces of, no, it might be wood actually. It's not just a single wooden block though, it's made from some bits of coffee stir stick, I think, stuck together and painted gold with Merry Creepmas on there. And I'm thinking that maybe that might be something that Grandmama has allowed the children to sneak in. Not sure yet. And then I also pulled out this little garland that I made of snowflakes. The snowflakes on the nylon thread make a really nice piece, and I don't know if I'll actually use this particular piece in the room or if I will make some more snowflakes and make something else using them, but it certainly kind of inspired me. And that and the block are in one of my previous Christmas make videos, which I'll be linking either in the iCard or in the description box, maybe both. It depends whether I remember. So that's what I've sort of got to start with, and I have also pulled out two small punches. There's the snowflake punch that was used for making the string of snowflakes, and there's also my little tiny holly punch, which I want to figure out how I can make some kind of garland and make it look like it's actually holly or artificial holly. I'm not sure how yet. It's going to take some more thinking, but I think some either some green cardstock, if I can find something suitable, or some cardstock coloured green punched out into little holly shapes will make a great little addition. And I might even have a go at making some mistletoe, because mistletoe has got strong magical links, but we won't even get into that because that's a whole nother ball game. I have been rooting. Now I haven't got all of my stash with me still. Hopefully soon. It's getting closer. We're moving more stuff back all the time out of storage. I don't know where it's all going to go, but that's another story. But I did find some green cardstock. Now this green is far too bright to make holly with, but I found a deep green coloured marker, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the colour. Now I wanted to use a green to start off with, because then any bits where it doesn't show, or even, to be fair, the edges should actually look green. So what I can do now, and I have already coloured a bit on the other side, that was my test to make sure that the colour was suitable, is I can punch some holly. Now they're not very big, so I'm going to need a lot to do anything, and I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with them. They are, at least because it's a little 3 pieces together, I can actually stick them and sort of move them a little bit and give it a bit more dimension rather than just sticking flat holly leaves down. It's going to take a lot of those, so I think I'm now going to sit here and colour green cardstock green and punch holly leaves, so that I can make something. I've also, before I forget, pulled out some Halloween confetti. Now I did say I wasn't going to go for sort of artificial blinginess, but these bats, the black and gold bats, I've got little tiny gold bits that have been punched out from the bats. Some of the bats have got like a hole like a sequin has. So I might be able to add a little bit of bling that way. And then these ones, I actually was looking at the moons because they've got some nice gold moons. This is just something that I picked up because they're always useful for little shapes, the ghosts and the jack-o'-lanterns. And of course, the bats. Who doesn't like a bat? But I may be using some of them. They might be perfect for putting a bit of added dimension onto things, including maybe the Christmas tree. I have seen a real Christmas tree decorated with bats, and I don't see any reason why Grandmama's miniature Christmas tree couldn't be decorated with bats. Do you? I have spent over an hour punching these holly leaves, and I've got quite a few here. If I tip some out onto my hand, you can see I've got lots of holly leaves, and that's great. I don't know that I've actually got enough for everything that I want to do, but I've got enough to start off with. And what I'm going to do to start off with is I'm going to make a wreath out of the holly. Now, this is something that's pretty popular in the UK. We do it quite a lot. Actually, it is a very traditional idea, the idea of having a holly wreath, particularly for displaying outside on doors. They're sometimes taken to put on graves at this time of year. But obviously I want it for Grandmama's workroom, and I've attempted to make my own wreath form. So what I did is I got a hole punch, and I started with this one. This is a circular hole punch. I'm not sure what size it is. It's actually the size I've pulled out to make a pot for the Christmas tree. But I decided it was suitable, and I punched a hole out of a piece of the green cardstock, and then I used a 1-inch hole punch to punch the actual wreath form out. So what you do is you punch as far in as you can with the smaller punch, and then you punch the bigger punch around the outside. So it's not perfectly level, but once I've stuck these bits on, you shouldn't be able to tell that. And what I've done to give it a bit more dimension is I've stuck some yarn onto it. Now, I actually wanted some string, but I can't find any. I have been today and I've got 5 boxes of craft room stuff to unpack. And when I say 5 boxes, they're big boxes. 3 of them stacked up is almost as tall as I am, and I am a little over 5.5 feet tall. So yeah, that's some serious unpacking I've got to do. But that aside, I can't be bothered to unpack. So I'm going to play about with my little holly leaves and my wreath form. And I think what I'm going to do is put a ring that's actually stuck to the cardstock around the outside, and then I'm going to stick some more over the top, also going to the outside. But I've got to try and cover this yarn on the inside, so I will probably do one on the outside and one on the inside, and then another one on the outside, or facing towards the outside. I think I will let you know how I get on. My little holly wreath is now drying. I pick it up very carefully because it is still wet, as you can tell by some of the white bits. It's glue. I did 3 layers. I did an outer layer, an inner layer, and then another outer layer, and I think that's actually sufficient. What I did do, because my yarn was such a outlandish colour, that's the ball that it came from, I put a little bit of dark brown paint over it before I started sticking my holly leaves on, and I got the fingers to prove it. Now I'm going to leave this to dry because I don't want to move any of the leaves, and then once it's dry I'm going to find something to make some berries with. I've got somewhere some red enamel 3D paint, so it's a shiny 3D paint, and I'm thinking that with that plus a toothpick I could actually get some red dots on there that will replicate the berries. Now I'm just going to stick this to wherever I stick it to, just with a little bit of tacky wax on the back. But you could obviously add a little hanging loop if that was appropriate, and that would be, you know, really easy to do, just a little loop on the back. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how this is turning out, and I'm looking forward to using some of the holly to make some kind of a garland, maybe, I'm not sure. I'm getting all these ideas, and whether they'll happen, I don't know. But yeah, I'm pleased. It's working. I have added the red berries to my holly. Hopefully they show up well enough. Now I used the 3D enamel effect paint. I haven't made them too three-dimensional because they don't need to be, but this stuff is good for that kind of thing. Anything just small. I like how it's come out. I'm definitely going to be doing something else with the rest of my little pot of holly. Probably will need more for that. Some kind of if not garland, then flouncy thing to go possibly on top of the mirror, which is oval in there. I'm not sure. I've got lots of ideas. I'm just not sure how I'm going to carry them through. I've got so much stuff on my desk at the moment. I've got a light which I've been repainting. This was, well, it is a plastic light. We've changed the original bulb for a LED, and rather than it being pattern, it's going to be painted. I was going to get that done for this vlog, but time's running away with me. I mean, I even pulled out this. This is so cool. This is a do-it-yourself snow globe, and I really feel like I want to do something with this. I don't know what. Oh, I wonder if my Santa here would fit inside. This is literally on the hoof, just having a thought. Will he fit? You know what? He would. That might be where he's destined for. That might be where he goes. I'm really thinking that might be what I do with that. Then again, it might not be Christmas. I might not do it as a snow globe as such. I might just do it as a globe with some little scene in at some point in the future. I have been and checked the timings on this video, and it's getting a bit long, so I think I'm going to have to bring it to a halt. I will be revisiting Grandmama's workroom. I will definitely be showing you how it comes together, and maybe even what else I make when I get to figure out what I'm going to do with that. Well, the rest of those and that, and even this, although I think that is going to be turned into a batty tree with confetti. But yeah, that's how it's going. It's that time of year. It's complete chaos. We're still renovating our house. We're almost done, as much as we're going to do for the rest of this year. so we can at least enjoy Christmas in some degree of comfort. But yeah. Now, hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please like, comment and subscribe. Maybe even ring that notification bell if you want to find out when I upload a video. I upload most weeks, usually on a Friday, but I don't promise anything because real life gets in the way, and yeah, that's how it is. But until next time, bye.